I'm the athletic director here at Grand Rapids Christian Middle School, and we're grateful that you signed up to be a part of swimming. We have a huge group swimming this year, which is great. This is also one of the first years that Kelvin has allowed us to bring fifth grade back, which is really exciting. So if you're a fifth grade parent, family, thank you so much for being a part of it. We're really excited. We have a couple of our coaches here with us today. I see Coach Avery and Colin is the name on there. So why don't you guys unmute and introduce yourselves, tell them a little about who you are. And obviously you guys were part of it last year, so go ahead and talk about that a little bit too. So go ahead.
All right, so I'm Avery. I am a senior at Aquinas College where I was on the swim team. And I have coached a couple teams around here. I've helped out with the high school for Grand Rapids Christian for the past 2 years. And then I do East Grand Rapids Middle School along with Cascade Hills Country Club. So that's kind of my background. I know we have Kimball on here too, and she'll be helping coach as well. So,
yep, I'm Colin. I'm a sophomore at Aquinas. I've coached the EGR teams a couple times. I coached this team last year as well. I do lessons all the time. That's kind of my background.
Thank you guys. Appreciate it. Kimball, you want to talk a little bit about who you are and how long you've been with us?
Yeah, sure. Hi, I'm Kimball. I also coached Grand Rapids Christian in the fall. I teach third grade in Greenville, and I'm just excited to be here and be able to coach middle school so we can, build up a team and continue building up for high school too.
Absolutely. Thank you, Kimball. Coach Elena Grunenboom is not with us today. She has a work meeting until 6:30, which is unfortunate. You won't be able to meet her tonight, but she was on the staff last year. Of course, she's our girls varsity coach at Grand Rapids Christian High School. So she'll be with the group too. So we're well equipped with experienced staff to teach the kids and spend time with them and teach them about swimming for this shortened season. Most parents, you may know that this is a shorter season than typical. We started about the week of the 18th. So we start on the 19th, that Tuesday of March. So not next week like some of the sports, but the week after that. And then we go until April 20th. It's about a month of swim, where we get about 3 days a week, a chance for kids to learn about diving, to learn about swimming. Some kids will want to try to do both, just to explore the options of swim and dive. So we're really excited that we have coaches that are willing to take that on for us and teach all the kids. So basically, it's going to be Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday from 6:30 to 8 p.m. at Calvin University. Okay, and that's in the Vinord building there. I think it's the Venema Aquatic Center. Is that correct, coaches? Right? Venema Aquatic Center. And so just a couple instructions about that. For those of you that maybe aren't familiar with the facility, you're going to want to drive to what would be the west side of that complex. So when you drive in, you'll kind of drive right towards the Venema Swim Center, and you'll go to the left. You'll kind of branch to the left. There's an entrance over there, and that's the entrance that you'll go in. The coaches will meet the kids there that first day for sure, probably the first week, just to make sure they catch everybody at the door, kind of showing them how to get into the pool through the family restroom. So that'll be the main way that you get in, and that's where you'll pick up as well. The coaches will send the kids back out that same way and out the door to you. So that'll be the place where you'll pick up. It's a little harder if everybody comes in the building. So if you just stay out there, the kids will come right out to you. The coaches will make sure they're out on time at 8 o'clock. Kelvin's pretty tight on their time windows for swim too. So we should be out of there right by 8. So that's kind of how we enter and exit. What to bring? That's the next thing on my agenda. Coaches, do you want to talk a little bit about do they have to have a swing cap? Do they have to have a Speedo? Should they wear, if they're a girl, should they wear a 1-piece or a 2-piece? Can you, one of the coaches just talk a little bit about what to wear? They need a towel, right? Like what do they need to bring?
So basically with suits, it's whatever they're comfortable with. With girls, especially, we prefer the 1-piece. It just is better in the water and you're not worried about it moving.
With boys, we kind of do the same thing. You can use a, like board shorts if you'd like, but we usually recommend either jammers. Usually they don't do Speedos at this age, but they can if they want to. But usually we recommend Speedos.
And then we just need cap and goggles and towel. We have kickboards for all the kids, and then that's about it. If they have their own equipment, they're welcome to bring it. But it's pretty introductory level practices, so we don't need a ton of equipment usually.
Will they typically change there? Should they come ready to go? Do they have to change afterwards?
That's whatever they prefer. We use the family locker rooms, so there's limited changing areas, so it's probably better to change beforehand, but whatever they prefer.
And then kind of wear a towel out into the car kind of thing instead of the other way? Okay. Because they don't go into separate girl locker room, boy locker room, correct? It's just like a family locker room that they kind of all just use and walk in and out that way. It's not really like a true locker room, get changed kind of place, right?
Right. Yeah.
So parents, just make sure that you know that. We want to make sure that the coaches are telling the kids that it's not really a place to change. It's a place, it's kind of like a hallway, pretty much, right? There's a place they can go to the bathroom, not in there. They'll show them where that is. And if you need to change, please do that before or at home, because, you know, boys and girls will both walk through that family restroom. Is that correct, Kimball and Colin, everybody? So we just want to make sure we're aware of that. If your kid tells you a different story, please check with the coach, okay? Well, let's keep everybody not changing at the Kelvin co-ed family locker room there, okay? Thank you. So swim caps, if you have a swim cap, right, you can bring that. We ordered some for the team, so they'll be coming. We had a person that was willing to donate this year swim caps to the whole program, which is so cool. Really kind. They emailed me about it and just said, we'd like to do this for the team. And I was like, wow, that's great. You know, it's usually something that comes out of the school's pocket. So really nice of them to do that for us. Those will arrive, it sounded like around spring break-ish. So you'll have them for sure after spring break and then for the meet. So let's talk about the schedule. Coach Elena is going to email everybody on this list. So if you got an email invite to this meeting, you're going to be on the email list. And she's going to email everybody with the schedule. It's actually just a picture, like a picture of a calendar with the days and the times. There's no scheduled times over our spring break this year. And so there is, however, one day that's technically on spring break, the 28th. A lot of people do leave early, but there's also a lot of people who are still here on the 28th and maybe leave on the 29th or that Friday or whatever. So they're going to keep the practice on the 26th, 27th, 28th that week, nothing the week of spring break. And then you'll have, you know, 2 weeks after spring break and then the meet on the Saturday. So the Saturday meet, you can write this down, is on April 20, okay? April 20, and that's a 9 a.m. meet, which means we will arrive early. Typically, if you've done swim with us before, our meet's been at like 4 o'clock in the afternoon on that day.
Whoa. April 20, 9 a.m. meet.
Yeah,
So
would
Al,
like
you
me to
can't
mute
be
you?
there.
Okay. So yeah, April 20, 9 a.m. meet. We'll probably show up early. We'll be like the probably the 8 o'clock warm-up time. So like 8 to 8:20, and then another group will warm up 8:20 to 8:40, another group 8:40 to 9, and then we start racing right at 9 o'clock. Coaches will put the kids into the races that they see fit. So coaches, this is something we always talk about with track and what we talk about with swimming. A lot of times parents have a preference for their child, or maybe the child has preference. But what I think is important for middle school track and swim and sports like that is that we're available to do what the coaches need, right? I want kids to learn early in our middle school when the stakes are the lowest, that we listen to coach. Coach has the big picture in mind, right? And coach is going to help them put them in the best places for them to be successful. Now, the coaches are going to take input from the kids, right? Like if kids are like, man, I really want to do this race, that's going to help. Right, but they also might go on a race that the coaches think they could be good in this spot, or this could be good for our team, even if it's not their favorite race. And so we want you to help us encourage your child in those moments, okay? Those moments where the child doesn't maybe want to do that one, but you say, hey, coach thinks you can do this. They've been watching you. You know, support our coaches and that opportunity to provide a little bit of a stretch for your child to try a race that maybe they don't think is their favorite, right? But we don't want to teach kids early in track and swim is I only do what I want to do, and that's too bad for everybody else. Okay, that's just not the thing that we want to teach, right? So that's how we handle it in swim for middle school and track for middle school, just to kind of teach that that environment of it's bigger than me. The coaches are looking at the big picture, and we need your support, parents, to help us encourage your child if they happen to be in something that the coaches feel is important, but maybe they don't think it's as important. Help us encourage the kids to try those new things and see how it goes. Okay. So we really appreciate your support in that one. So coaches, the meet, if you haven't been to the meet before, we swim in kind of two divisions. Can you talk about kind of how that meet goes a little bit so people know? There's like an order of operations, but then also like kind of how the different age groups go.
Yeah, so one thing I also wanted to add on of like the events that they swim. For these meets, they're pretty informal. So we have unlimited entries for all the kids. So I know last year we sent out like a Google form and had everyone mark like whatever events that they were even slightly interested in. And then we also were able to talk some kids into trying some new stuff. So it's really just like an exploratory opportunity for the kids to swim, like Kevin said. But usually what we'll do, I believe it's like 5th and 6th grade and then 7th and 8th grade for the age groups. So they're broken up into races by those, and then usually we break it up by gender too. I think it kind of varies based on the year, but by how many kids that we end up having. But it seems like there's quite a few kids this year, so we'll probably do those breakdowns.
Yeah, and just to add on to that, it's largely 5, 6, 7, 8, but I think it is done by birth date, right? So I think everybody had to enter a birth date in their sign up. We provide that to Calvin for all of those things. So it is by age, and they kind of group the 5th and 6th grade ages together in the 7th and 8th ages. So if you happen to be a very old 6th grader, it's possible, depending on how that works, that you may be racing against some 7th and 8th graders just because of your age, or vice versa for a 7th grader who might be young for the grade or something like that. So, but yeah, the coaches will send that out, and then they'll get it all set. They'll probably send that out a couple weeks early, right after about 2 weeks of trying stuff. You guys send it out a little bit after spring break just to kind of get a feel for what people are interested in. So one of the questions that people typically have is, can they do swimming and diving during our team? Now in high school, we know that's a little bit harder, right, to be able to manage both of those items, but we try to allow that. Can you talk about kind of the schedule of what a diver / swimmer will do kind of during the week on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday?
Yeah, so we had a couple kids that ended up wanting to do that, and we mostly left it up to them and their parents of like what days they wanted to swim and what days they wanted to dive. So there's not like a specific like you dive this day and swim this day. It was more like variable based on the kid and kind of what they wanted to do.
Except I think Elena is not able to do diving on Wednesday. So Wednesday is a swim day, right? Now, if you're just a diver, some people on their sign up said, I'm just a diver. We would love for you to come on Wednesday because maybe you aren't just a diver. Maybe you're pretty good at some things you didn't even know about. So we'd still love for you to come Wednesday and swim just to see what that's like. But kids that are doing both, you can dive on Tuesdays and Thursdays. You can dive both days. You can dive one day. Just make sure you communicate with the coaches so they know what to expect for their lesson plans for that day. Okay, coaches, what did I miss?
That sounds like it's about it. I guess just reinforcing the fact that like this is just to get kids interested in the sport. It's supposed to be fun and also some hard work in there too. So it's gonna be a fun season, but I think that basically covers it.
Colin, anything from you?
I don't think so.
Okay, Kimball?
Nope, all good.
How about from everybody that's here? Is there any questions you have or things that you wonder about that maybe I didn't cover or we didn't cover as a staff that would help you get started with the season or that would help you understand the season more effectively? I didn't check the chat. Let me there is something in the chat that says there are locking restrooms inside the family locker room for limited changing. So there is a chance that you can change in there. But again, it's maybe not what the normal practice will want to have in there, but it is possible to do that. So Kelly, thanks for sending that. Again, coaches will meet you that first day outside the door on the west side of Venema. And then they'll kind of have the the routine from there. And you'll get some information from Coach Elena later this week. What she'll do is she'll send you something kind of this week and then also next week as a reminder to how things are going to start on the 19th. Okay. So if you have any questions, please, I love all of you, but we have about 240 some athletes this spring that we're trying to serve. So please email your coaches and the coaches will get in touch with me with any questions they can't solve. So thank you very much for being here today. We really appreciate you. If you have any other questions, Coach Elena will be sending out something very shortly in the next couple of days, and you can get right back in touch with her if you have any questions about the season. Thanks again. We're honored that you're part of our program, and thank you for being part of Grand Rapids Christian. Have a great night.